And welcome back to Dallas Sports. To everyone following and listening. Tonight's special guest, we've got Johan Tromp in the house. Where Johan, I just wanted to say welcome on Dallas Sports, and thank you so much for giving up your time to come and feature on our channel. Johan, how are you doing this evening?
Thanks, Ryan. I'm quite well, quite doing good. I'm sitting here in Crimea, quite cold. Not as cold as Kazan is, but we're enjoying it. Busy with the Sevens tournament.
Awesome, awesome. I know we've spoken briefly earlier, and it was nice and sunny, and now you all wrapped up. It's like does the weather also change so quickly?
The weather changes like instantly, like the sunshine, and then 5 o'clock starts getting dark, and then it starts getting cold in the evenings.
Amazing, amazing stuff. It must be. I know you've obviously played rugby, obviously, overseas, and you're used to it. And but I can't imagine if you, for the first time, if you're away and you're experiencing, like it gets dark so early, and when it gets cold, it gets proper cold. Like have you played in the snow? If I may ask, have you played in the snow yet?
No, not really. We've trained in the snow, but not yet played in the snow. So,
Right.
when you train in the snow, it's quite you're dressed like all warm clothes, everything you've got in your closet that can keep you warm. You've got on for that snow. So that it's quite cold. The dark, like in the winter, it gets 4, 5 o'clock in the evenings, starts getting dark, and at 9, say 9, 10 o'clock in the mornings, starts getting light only.
Wow, it's a for me like where when I came over to England, it get in the summer it gets dark really late, like 11, half 11 at night,
Yeah,
and then in the
same.
morning like 4, half 4. It's just a weird thing. Like I can't imagine, but
No, it's
but
the same here.
yeah, man. But yo, we've been we've been it's been a nice build up. I just wanted to recap quickly on to say everyone that's following us on Instagram, that's been watching your highlights, you're looking out for your you know for the rugby chat, obviously for this evening. We've had some really positive feedback, and for
Right.
everyone joining us, please share it. I always say it. It's subscribe as well on our YouTube channel. It's for free, but please watch his highlights. This guy is on fire, right? He's an exciting talent that's also flying the Namibian flag for some time now. Really really high. And it's such a great guy as well, as you'll see tonight. Fantastic character. But yeah, we, I'm not making this up. Every time this guy gets the ball, something's going to happen. So yeah, you are. Thank you once again, and welcome for everyone who's joining us now. What we're gonna have tonight, I was gonna ask you on the first thing that I normally would be asking is, do you mind telling us, where you're from, where you've been born? Obviously, you know, let's say the first 10 years or so of your life. Which region did you come from?
So I was born in Windhoek, Namibia. I was there
Mhm.
probably till I was 2 years old or something. And then my parents moved to a small town up north in Oshikati. I don't know if people
Right.
know about that town. Yeah, I stayed there till I was probably 6 or 7 years old. Then we moved back to Windhoek. And I grew up there till I was matric.
Wow, Oshakati. I never knew that. I never knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oshakati. Did you? What was it like? What was it like being obviously I don't know from reflection and being really young. Uh, I believe it's amazing sceneries up north, and I've been all the way up to Etosha Pen and stuff. But what was it like growing up north?
And it was quite an experience. So yeah, it was like it's a small town. It's like a Laufeld town, really
Mhm.
low population of people. So it's not quite a busy town, and there's quite a lot of stuff to do around there. It's like the river up there, sort of few lodges, wildlife, everything is there. So it's like a farm life almost.
Gee, that sounds really really amazing because I like open spaces myself,
Yeah.
and we, we, Do you find yourself like thinking maybe after you've played rugby and you want to do something different? Do you think yourself thinking maybe I would like to go back one day, or is it not something you've thought of yet?
Well, around currently now, probably not.
Mhm, mhm,
Probably try to prolong my career as long as possible, and then
mhm,
enter a coaching environment, S&C coaching, normal coaching, backline coaching, skills coaching, whatever I can, and prolong that career as long as possible. But yeah, if I move back, I won't probably move to Windhoek. I think it's too big for me. It's too much people. Too much.
I like that.
Uh, it's too
Do-
busy for me. I don't like the busy. I like the small towns, the more relaxed
mm,
towns. If you drive 5 o'clock from work, 5 past 5, you're at home. It's not drive half an hour to go home.
yeah. Yes, no, I agree. I agree 100%.
Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're mentioning, that you're thinking about, once you've started, you want to prolong your career. I know you're a guy that looks after, you like to look after yourself. You spot on normally from the short time that, the environments that I've been, the time when I was involved with Namibia, I've seen that, you're quite spot on with very disciplined. You like to, yeah, look after yourself, which is a great example as well. And the evidence is in, you, like I said, you're a great footballer, very confident. Tell us about, what does it feel like to be Johan? When just off the cuff, what does it feel like to be you, be you as a rugby player, just in general? What do you think when you play?
Well, the thing I'm playing, I always think
Mm,
about how to put myself in the best position I can and how to put a team in the best position as which I can. I think it's
mm,
more about thinking about the team and not by yourself.
mm,
It's about contributing to the team and not your personal goals. I think your personal goals you will achieve as soon as you achieve your team goals. I think that's the most
mm.
important thing you have to you think about when you play the game.
Awesome. Like, I've noticed most of the guys who've come on and we ask them that type of question, they say the same thing, which just shows, I like the mindset. I like, no, it's more about the team type of thing. So, yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. The second thing I was going to talk about was, or ask you was, at what age did you realize or thought, what, I just want to play rugby. It's just so fun. At what age did you decide, this is me. I want to be a rugby player?
When I was playing my first under 14 match, grade 8, I decided, I told my dad, this is what I want to do, and
Hmm.
this is what I want to do as long as possible. I don't know. I don't care if it's like, well, I knew Namibia is not going to be professional,
Hmm.
so I didn't mind about it, but this is what I want to do as long as I could.
So, so because, like, I like the fact that you've touched on. I know in Namibia rugby was it's not really a professional, but it's not impossible, and you've proven it. A lot of guys out there, they've proven it. You can be a professional. Obviously, in the environment where you are, you can make it a professional environment for yourself, your professional mindset, and then obviously work hard, and the opportunities will come. Um, did you play any other sports? Did you, growing up, did you find yourself really leaning towards other sports a lot, or just rugby?
Not really. I played cricket on school. I played football on school. I played hockey on school, but I knew this wasn't my type of sport. There's no contact involved. There's no physical physical stuff involved. So,
Physicality,
yeah, so
right?
that's when I realized, no, this is not for me. I stopped
Mm.
it and I just started playing rugby.
Okay, because I thought, you've got a good foot on you as well. You can really kick a ball. Is that because you played football? Do you think is
No,
part of it being a footballer, or could you just always just confident kicking the ball?
no, it was from a young age I started kicking, playing rugby.
Uh, I can imagine having so much space, up north, just with a rugby ball, just running around, chucking it, kicking it. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. The another thing, obviously, I've asked this question a lot. Like playing different activities, growing
Okay.
up, it can really enhance your, if you put that together. Obviously, as a rugby player,
Yeah.
when you start deciding this is what I want to do. Did you do any athletics at school? Because the reason why I'm asking this question is you're a really good runner. Were you always fast, like as you are, or was it
Mm,
something that you really worked on?
That was something I really worked on. I did athletics at school. I realized
Hmm.
100 meters was not my thing. People with or usually came last in a 100-meter regional race. People in a 10-meter something, 10 seconds something, I'll run 11. So I knew 100 meters not for me. But as I went to university, I started working on my speed with one of our coaches there, which helped me quite a lot to improve my speed.
Right, right. So yeah, sure. Because I find it, you know, a lot of times you grow up and you play a certain position, and suddenly when you're older, you find yourself playing a complete different position. So I was going to ask you, did you what's your favorite position before we before we move further on? I was just going to ask you, what's your favorite position?
Well, when I was young, it was usually scrum off. I played
Hmm.
until grade 12. I actually played scrum off for Namibia under 20s and the 19s. And at school, they moved me to inside center. And then my last year matric, they moved me to fullback.
Right.
And when I went to university, I played wing fullback. But I think the most preferred position would be fullback outside center.
Oh, so you feel like you're most comfortable now, like rather fullback. But playing fullback, that must be frightening. Especially if you guys come through that line and there's three or four of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's interesting that you're saying that you prefer fullback. That just shows the level of confidence as well, because it's a very specialized position. Obviously, with your positioning and the way you read the game and stuff. So do you feel the transition was if you reflect back, was what was the transition like for you? Was it a good thing at the time, or was it quite difficult?
At the beginning, it was quite difficult because I was used to being a scrum off, just picking up the ball, passing it, going from ruck
Mm,
to ruck, just passing it, working around the field. So it was quite difficult moving to fullback, um, organizing your back three, trying to communicate with them, putting them in positions, putting yourself into a position as good as possible. So that was quite difficult. But as I look along in my career, I think that was the best move I could have made, moving to fullback, because I think on scrum off, yeah, I feel I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I did now in my career as a fullback or outside center.
awesome. Yeah, because I've I can relate to obviously playing different positions, but for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't easy because I'm not the tallest guy, obviously. But when I went to South Africa, I ended up playing wing fullback. When I went to high school playing in the first time, I ended up playing outside center for 2 seasons. Never even thought like what because of running lines was. I find that part of the game. If you know when to pick a line and how to beat the man without the ball type of thing, it's pretty cool. It's just you don't see a lot of the ball sometimes. When you're out wide, and then you've got to end up looking for work. And I think you're really good at that as well. Coming off your wing when you were playing wing, or when you fullback, it looks like you read the game really well. Could you, if you don't mind, share maybe one or two things what really works for you when you're playing as a fullback? What do you normally look for when you're attacking? Obviously, we've got systems and stuff in place, but what do you feel is your superpower?
I think in attacking wise, you usually look what a fullback's doing. That's your main goal. If the fullback's closing, you know the spaces at the back. If the
Mm,
fullback's staying, you know the spaces are wide. So the thing is, we know the fullback, the opposition fullback is actually your key of whether you're going to attack or whether you're going to kick. So that's one of the big things going into a game for me as a fullback, what to read. And
okay.
also
So,
the blindside wing. The blindside wing is also a portrait role. Depending like
mhm.
here in Russia, they don't work. So the blindside wings, they usually stay on their side, so they don't close the gap for the fullback. So if they don't close, and the fullback closes, the space is at the back. Put the kick through, chase it hard, put them under pressure, or maybe win the ball back. So those are the
Mm.
two, I think, the two main things you look out in attacking.
I see. I see. It's I mean, you've done it at the highest level. You've had great success. Obviously, we'll touch on it later on. You know, playing in two World Cups, you've you're really good at reading what the opposition would do as well. A few times you could intercept. It just looks like you just know what you're doing, or is it something you just react off? Because a lot of people might want to ask that question, like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? Like is it just something that you've developed, or could you share or touch on that for a second for us, if you
Well,
don't mind?
mostly you go on instincts. You hope your
Hmm.
instinct is right. So that's, I think, most of your time you goes on that. Sometimes you don't read, like you go through a game, 50, 60 minutes, you go into a game, you see a guy, you
Hmm.
usually don't look at passes or whatever the situation is, what he does wrong, according to you, for
Hmm.
you to make yourself in a better position or to get the ball back. So I think you look at a guy giving the pass, then rather receiving the pass. So yeah, a lot of coaches tell you don't do ball watching, but for me, I do man watching. I'll watch the inside guy, what his situation is. Is he falling away in his ball? Is he not looking, or what's he doing actually? And just staying
Right.
on my outside of my defender, so I know I can watch him too.
Ah, well said, well said. I like the fact that you've touched on the inside man, because like you said, a lot of people say, oh, you're ball watching and that, but you actually go and find something that can make, that you can get from it. So that's a very good point. For Johan, I'm just gonna, for a few seconds, I just wanted to say once again, for anyone that's joined us, after, we just wanted to say welcome to everyone online, and thank you for tuning in, and come and listen, and share, come and listen how Johan is gonna be sharing his story. Like I said, this guy is phenomenal. You've got to go and watch his highlights. Please share it, spread the word, because and even after this chat will still be available on our channel. And for any youngsters, I hope you guys are listening to what knowledge Johan is dropping tonight. Already, it's highly beneficial. And like I said, with everyone in the chat, I would like to say welcome. Also, I see Rufus have also got a question. Johan, he's been asking about the teams that you've played for, as a professional, and before as an amateur. Just to touch base on that for us. What was it like for the teams you've played for?
Well, university I played for Tuks, played for Harlequins in Pretoria. You learn a lot of stuff there. You learn about the physicality of the game because those people, they're all like they're like the Namibian type of rugby. They come from work. You coming as a youngster, studying,
Mm.
trying to make rugby professional. So they're quite physical guys. You learn about a physical game there. I went to Pumas under 21 for 2 years, played my age group. It was quite good. I enjoyed it. You learn a lot from coaches there. You learn a lot from the game also at the young level of professionalism. Came back to Namibia, played for Wanderers, Western Suburbs. It was quite amazing. I enjoyed it. It was tough at sometimes going to work, coming back,
Mhm.
back from work, got
Mhm.
to train. Next morning, go to work again, train in the evenings. So that was quite tough, waking up at 4, 5 a.m. in the mornings. But yeah,
Wow.
I think that gave you discipline in life, like discipline to plan your day, plan your life, plan your week. So
Mhm.
I think that was quite important for me. And then playing at the Kings, that was an experience I never thought I would imagine. Like the
Right.
professionalism they had and everything, and now playing in Russia at Strela.
Wow. So you saying, that's obviously you've touched base on the experiences and the clubs that you've been. What would you say up to date? Uh, what was more rewarding from the different experiences, from reflection? What was most rewarding for you?
I think the most rewarding, I learned the most of, was when I was in the Kings Super Rugby setup. I think there I learned a lot about the game. I learned a lot about positioning. I learned a lot about myself. I learned about like how to handle situations. So because
Hmm.
there's stuff in South Africa trying to play
Hmm.
there also coming from an outsider playing in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I can
think
imagine. Yeah.
the other place I've learned quite a while was probably when I was in university at Tux. Coming from
Mm-hmm.
school, thinking you know anything, going there to the Tux setup where a lot of the guys are from the Bulls, coaches are from the Bulls, and you learn a lot from them.
Mm. And that's the thing. You just hit it. You said you learn. It sounds like you're also in that mindset. You keep learning. Am I right in saying you just
You
you
never,
find yourself keep learning new things.
you never,
Um.
like I always tell myself, you're never too old to learn. So it
Mm.
doesn't matter if you, the guy 35 years age, 35 in a
Mhm.
team, or the guy 21, you never
Mm.
too old to learn. The youngster can lend you something, the old guys can lend you something. And I think that grows the team.
Brilliant, brilliant, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm absolutely in. I'm just so in tune because there's so many questions, and like I said, I know you've had such a busy schedule as well now, taking time out. I know you've been back recently, back in Namibia, and on a short break, and then you were back to Russia, and it's full on. It's full on. And earlier when we had a chat about traveling, the fact that I asked, I just wanted to mention it if you don't mind. Like, the traveling must have been difficult, but you said it sounded like you looked at it positively because it's a lot more quiet. You said that's how you looked at it. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people would be like, "Oh my, this traveling," but please share the experience of the traveling if you don't mind.
well, we traveled through Ethiopia. So, and I would say it
Hmm.
was quite amazing. We had a layover of 1 day, all expenses paid. So the airways give you the accommodation, the visa,
Wow.
everything. So they arrange everything for you. Flight is quiet. You have a lot of free room around you. Not a lot of people on that airplane. It's not like you're squeezed in. The airports are quiet. Not standing in long queues, having to wait to get to your boarding gate and all that type of stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Because normally it's packed out. I remember flying from Manchester or Gatwick or London. It's always just busy. You fly to Dubai, you have to queue up, stuff like that. But with all this obviously stuff going on, like you said, you seem like you just take it as it comes, and it sounds like it's all good. It's all good. So Johan, the next thing I was going to ask you, your high school rugby career, your junior rugby. Would you be able to share your experiences, good and bad at times? What was good for you at school as a school rugby player? Um, most memorable moments and stuff like that.
Well, school was quite difficult. Most memorable moments, it's quite a while back. So I would say probably the 1 year when we were under 15, under 14, winning the league. That was one of my best experience. And I think when I moved from Windhoek Technical High School to Windhoek Gymnasium.
Mhm.
My first year there, we came there as a new team, as a new group of players together. I was in grade 11, played for the first team, and winning our league. Also, that's also a good experience to have. And then, yeah, bad experience. I'll say probably when I moved from one position to another, because at school you think you know everything. You think people can't tell you what to do and all that type of stuff. So you're trying to be a big head, especially when you're grade 11, grade 12, and then someone tell you, okay, no, you're not going to play this position, you're going to play that position. I think, yeah, if I look back at my career, I learned a lot from that. But at that
Mm.
moment, it was a negative position for me, a negative mindset, a negative thing in my life.
I see, I see, I see. I wouldn't thought, to look at you in that way, like you would be. But everyone goes through phases, isn't it? I remember how sensitive I was as well. Like, why I'm a scrum half? Why do I have to? But I'm not a. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't want to play that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's good that you're mentioning that because how many young players are going through the same thing now, and that's why, especially still at school, also going through different changes. It's not always easy, but it's if they hear it from Johan Tromp, Namibian international, few World Cups experience, then it makes sense. It makes sense. It's brilliant, man. I love it. Love it. Right. The next one was if we move on and you played Namibia junior, for the junior teams. What was it like? Obviously, going from school rugby to representing Namibia at the junior level, at junior levels. Was it what
Well,
you expected?
my first, like Africa Cup and the 19 Africa Cup, that was quite the same. I didn't see
Mhm.
that like I don't look forward to that actually like I looked forward to the under 20 World Cup I played in. So that was quite different. I think like under 19 Africa Cup, you think about playing against another African team, so it's just another team. But going to the under 20 World Cup, I think that blew my mind away a bit. That
Mm.
that made me believe more in myself to playing rugby than doing something else.
So now, where was it hosted, if I may ask? The under 20 in your time. Where was it hosted?
So we played in under 20 B League, so we played in
Um,
Kenya.
Kenya.
No,
I mean,
we played in Kenya. We had quite a well team, quite organized team, quite professional
uh,
guys.
uh,
But yeah, I think due to playing teams like USA, those guys
mm,
coming from structures from a young age, playing as a group as a young age, just broke us because that was one of our losses. But against teams like Papua New Guinea, I think
mhm,
yeah, we played Kenya, so we beat those guys. So it was
mm,
quite good. We
mm.
ended up fifth in the tournament, which was quite well for us at that
That's
time.
really good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So how many guys? Just to expand a bit on the question, how many guys that was involved in that? I would say that team and your under 20 team. How many of
yeah.
them have actually transitioned over to seniors that you actually ended up playing for the national side with? Was it quite a few, or was it only maybe one or two
No, I think we were like maybe two or three from that year.
from that year? Right,
No, I
because a
think
lot of times. No, go on. You're right. You
I
were
think
saying.
the big problem is like you think I think the people go in the mindset of if they play rugby, they're gonna be professional, and you have to go when
Mhm,
you play for the media, you have to have the mindset like it's not gonna be professional. You're gonna work for it. You're gonna work during the day. You're gonna train at night. You're gonna train in the mornings. So you
mhm,
gotta realize like it's not gonna be a playing um, payment. It's gonna be like a
mhm,
playing for pride, playing for the fun of the game.
mhm. I see. I see. For the fun of the game, that's a strong. That's very powerful when you say for the fun of the game, because a lot of times when people even sign professional contracts, they lose that the fun of the game because it becomes so intense. A working environment. It goes from playing and having fun to actually a very stressful environment, and a lot of times people struggle players struggle to find that. But it's important. I'm so happy that you've mentioned the fun of the game. So for everyone listening, youngsters, please do not lose that. Even if you end up as a professional, have fun. Like I was just gonna touch on this one. You always have a smile on your face when you're playing. How do you manage to do that? Like from reflection, man, I'm a serious guy. You know what I mean? I find it difficult to smile when I play. How do you get away with it? Because I saw the clip where you were dancing as well, celebrating your tries, and I loved it. That just shows how passionate you are, confident. Please share on that if you don't mind.
I think when you're having fun, when you're having like when you're having a smile, when you're having that type of environment around you, like negative stuff, like a ref's call or the other
Mm,
team's problem or a knock on in a team, that doesn't bother you a lot. Like when I was younger, I used to get angry at a lot of stuff, and probably now I still get a little angry. But at a young age, when I got angry, it reflected on my game, and you could see my game went from a high level to a lower level. So that's why I
Mm.
decided I had to change something, and so I just decided let's just change the mindset of not being too serious, but having the fun part in as well. Like when I was at in Pretoria, I used to do a few coaching for schools for
Mhm.
under eight, under nines, and when you coach there and back home also, when you see the youngsters playing, they're
Yeah.
playing with a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment. So I think that's the thing. If you ever lose your hope for the game, just go back and watch an under 18 play. Those guys are
See,
just having fun.
man, I like that. I like that. Go back to where it started.
Yes.
Maybe you can pick up and learn. Like you said, you're never too old to go actually and learn from someone young. Man, that's a great idea. To actually spend time watching grassroots rugby and see the fun, because sometimes people think it's just a serious thing, and that's why it's fantastic that you mentioning that as well, Johan, because like I said, you always seem like you play with a smile on your face, and you just express yourself, and it's fantastic. Why not? Why not? I can only look back now, because I'm coaching, not to be too serious at times, but I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. But yeah, but the other thing I was gonna touch on, any role models, any role models when you were growing up, and specifically coaches, maybe one or two coaches, even up till now, that you feel that's played a massive part in your development as a person, as a rugby player,
I
that
think
you
my
would like
two
to
role,
talk about.
I think my two role models would be my parents because doesn't
Hmm.
matter where I went, what I did, they always supported me and my goals. Like even if it, when I went to the Kings, I went on a 3-month contract to play for the Kings in the Currie Cup. They supported that. They supported everything I tried to do with my rugby career. I think those two
Yeah.
are my biggest role models in my life. Coaches
Mm.
growing up, ooh, there's a lot. My dad was one of my coaches when I was a youngster. I think he learned me a lot about the game. Then I had a coach when I was at the Bulls, Coach David Manuel. He was also one of my
David
great coaches. Yes,
David Manuel. Oh
yes,
my goodness. I know David. I know David. I know him personally. I've not spoken to him for obviously for donkey's years, but I know him.
really.
Wow.
Um,
Wow,
so
that's
he
interesting.
was, he was one of my coaches going through the university um, environment to the bigger leagues,
I see.
learning me a lot about the game and stuff. I think going further, probably at Wanderers, playing under Coach JP with the center, me trying to play center, that would
Hmm.
be a that would be also one of my great coaches going along, and then Coach Phil Davies that learned me a lot about the game, learned me a lot about the discipline of being on time and what um, structures have on the game also.
Fantastic, fantastic. Oh man, I'm just getting goosebumps because when you talk about people, like obviously just from reflection, like it's just great to also reflect as a player, and you're still playing now, and you're looking back, and you still remember there's something in you that you can take that you've learned a long time ago from a certain individual, and it's kind of like like I like the fact that you've mentioned your dad, your mom and your dad, like they are your role models, and it's powerful stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? Like what do you feel most from for instance what you feel like you've picked up from your dad, for instance, as a rugby player, not obviously as a son and dad, but as a rugby player.
I think the big part is about being like being low headed, being low on the ground, being not trying to going after every match and thinking about the positive, but thinking about what can you improve on your game and what can you improve about your setup.
Mm.
So I think that was the thing I learned about him is that don't think after one game you're the best player on the team. Like maybe after 5, 10 years, you can be the best player. So, and I think we
Mhm.
also spoke a lot about in Namibia is creating a legacy. So, I don't think after one match you have a legacy. So, I think that was
Mhm.
also the big thing is after one match, your legacy is not going to be the best. You have to be
Mhm.
there 10, 5 years at least to create a legacy for people to remember you.
That's well said. A legacy. That's also powerful because I know obviously that's been going on for a long time as well. And I think you what you guys have done, especially last World Cup. I know we're gonna touch on that in a bit, but it's just power. It's very um, it was very it was a proud moment the way you guys performed. Like I'm talking about performance based.
Yes.
How you could see that you guys were that togetherness, and I know I've been mentioning this in the past, but that togetherness and that confidence as a group, how you carried yourself, and you really made the jersey. You really made the jersey. Instilled values back into that jersey, and I think that's what needs to keep happening, build on that legacy. But yeah, man, that was. Oh man, I really enjoyed watching Namibia, on the World Cup stage especially last year. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. With obviously with questions that I've got for the 2019 World Cup. But before we do, I was gonna ask you big games. You're so used to big games now, right?
Yes.
Does it ever get? Do you ever get? It's just another game. I know a lot of times people say that, but do you ever get nervous or before big games, or do you just because it just looks like it's just normal stuff? Do you know what I mean? How do you feel before big games?
Well, for me, I think for 3 hours before the game, that's when nerves start kicking in. Like before that, I try to stay as calm as possible, as low key as possible, trying to think not too much about the game, but trying to think about other stuff, trying to think, just get my mind off the game. So 3, 4 hours before the game, as soon as you start getting ready for the game, as soon as you start thinking about the game, then you realize, okay, now this is a big game, especially when playing big
Mm,
teams also. And yeah, I get nervous, but I have a certain role I go through every day, every game. Every game that I have a stuff I do, certain times of the day, certain music I listen to, like
right,
those
right.
type of stuff. So I follow those steps, and then I just think to myself, why stress about a game if you can
Hmm.
try to be positive and just think about it's another game, it's another opportunity to create your legacy.
Mm. It comes back to that legacy, like that.
Yeah.
Really, really like that. And the fact that you're touching on, you've got your routine, like you've got specific things that you do before the game, and you like to do them because it works for you. I take it. Have you
Yes.
have you ever found have you ever found if you've done something outside of it, what was the
Well,
outcome? What was the experience? What
a
was
few
that
times
like?
I went, there's a few times I went outside of it, but then I think to myself, it's not going to make a big difference. It's just you just have to adapt to it. It's it's the way of life. You can't do anything about that. You have to be adaptable. Like that's one big thing you have to be in life. Also, as a rugby player, you have to adapt to any situation you find yourself in, or whatever the
Mm.
situation is going to be. And some stuff you can't change, so you just have to accept it.
Man, you just you just spot on with the words that you're mentioning, like adaptable. A lot of guys plan stuff, and then they don't plan for what if that doesn't work. What then? Then everything crumbles. And I've
Yes.
also obviously over the period of time I've also had to learn, to be more and more adaptable, especially when now that I'm on this side, wearing a coaching hat. I'll be doing lesson plans, but come training, you might not even do it, end up doing it. So it's important. I like the fact that you've mentioned as a player. we adapt. The weather might change. They might say it might not rain, and suddenly it rains. Now you can't catch the ball. But anyway, it's you know, coming back to what you've said. I wanna also ask you on setbacks. Like massive setbacks as a rugby player. How do you deal with setbacks? Mentally.
I see them as an obstacle. I see them as a challenge. I want to improve myself. I don't see setback as like
Hmm.
you will see a setback as a negative.
Hmm.
I'll see it more as a learning curve. Like you have to learn from it. You have to accept the setbacks. Like
Right.
if it's in your hands, it's your own responsibility. But if someone else's hands, you have to accept that, and you have to adapt to it, and you have to change your type of game plan or your type of way of playing or whatever the situation is, or what do you have to improve on, or all those type of stuff. You have to improve yourself, improvise. So I think that's the most important thing about a setback is you have to be able to learn to change.
Mhm. So the setback is not really so it's not really stifling wherever you are. It's not slowing you down your process, or it's just, what, just bring it on. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you could see it in your game, when you play against Argentina or the All Blacks, or it's just normal stuff. Bring it on. And it's kind of like that's why I'm asking that question, because for everyone listening, man, they should spend time with Yuan. I'm hoping going forward, people can invite you to talks, Yuan, and just, I'm sure you have, but I'm just saying, man, who knows? Whoever's listening, invite you to come and talk and share that, because I think Namibian young players, especially, they need to have that mindset. What you're talking about, they need to have that instilled in them from a young age, and how to utilize it. Because what you're showing when you're playing, if you don't mind me saying this, what you're showing, what from what when I'm watching, it shows like the transition from, the way you play. It's not left in the gym, or it's not left in the mind. Like, it comes out. Do you know what I mean? Like, it comes out. You people can see it on the pitch. And man, this is so exciting, man. And once again, Yuan, I thank you. I thank you
Thanks.
for giving up your time, and come and share your knowledge and your experience. And for
Thank
everyone,
you.
like I said, don't forget, subscribe. It's free. And share this guy's story, man, and share his highlights. And also, please comment, like I said, below. We would love to hear your comments and any questions, as we go along. So the next thing was, Johan, I know when you have a busy schedule, I take it you thrive in it. But what do you like to do for, to relax? How does Johan Tromp relax? Like, please tell us, well.
Well, 2015, I think till 2015, 2016, I think on my off
Mhm.
days, I would explore, especially when I'm on tours, I would explore the town. I would explore the country, the area I was in. I would explore it. On my off days, I would try to learn stuff from the country. I think, but now as I get older, on my off days, I'd like to sleep in, especially I would sleep probably till I'll
Right.
probably miss the breakfast, sleep in, try to get my rest, try to
Yes.
get my recovery from my sleep, and yeah, I think just to relax, just to get my mind off of the working environment, out of the game. That's
I
also a big
see.
thing. Like when you playing the game, you think a lot about the game, and your off days are
Uh-huh.
very important to you. You have to break away from the game. You have to do something else, adapt to it. Also, not adapt, but like change your way of not thinking about the game, not looking about games. Like when I was younger,
Mm.
I would look at Super Rugby matches. I would look at Test matches. I would look at any international match I could. I would watch it just because it's rugby. But as I
Yeah,
grow
yeah.
older, I don't even watch rugby anymore.
What's rugby?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
like if it's on, I watch it. But I don't, I don't know. As I grow older, I've decided my off days or my days away from rugby, I'll spend it on other stuff that makes me happy. because I
Mm,
think that's the most
mm,
important thing. You have to, when you're off days, you have to do stuff that makes you happy as a person,
mm, mm.
which will make your day better tomorrow or the next week. So that's also
I
a big thing.
Oh man, that's because a lot of people would think, oh, it's rugby, rugby, rugby. But now you said, from experience, no, my off days is my off days. I don't need to talk about rugby. You know what I mean? It's not always it's about life. And
Yeah,
I like the fact that you've touched on you like to go and explore. When you're in a new country, you go out, wherever. If you're on tour with a team, with the national side, you go out. You go and do you like going for coffees and bistros, or do you like doing stuff like that?
yeah. I'm a coffee guy, so all the teams I've been, all the places I've been, all the people that know me, they know like
Mhm.
for me, if you want to spoil me, bring me a cup of coffee. That's
Nice
that's
one.
my type of,
Cup of
that's my
coffee.
type of spoil. That's my type of spoil.
Right.
I've enjoyed the coffee, a good cup of coffee, and yeah, I would go out of town. I would go on a town, sit at a place, drink a coffee, go to the next place, drink a coffee, like
Mm.
experience the different type of coffees there is in the world. I would
In the
love to do
environment.
that
Yeah.
also.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. That I'm probably the same as well. I like to have a cup of coffee as well, and um, why not? Why not? I love the smell of coffee.
Yeah.
Do you like the smell as well? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I
the best
love
thing ever, isn't it?
it.
Cool, cool, cool. So now that you're in Russia, what's the culture for you as an experience? What do you find fascinating, about what you not expected, and what's the food like, stuff like that. If you want to touch on that for a minute, if you don't mind.
Food. There's a lot of normal food. There's a normal food like you eat in Africa, but it's just they make it in a different way. It's like I don't know how to explain it. I think it's this taste is a bit different because of
Mm-hmm.
it's not the type of hot weather here for the animals to live in. I think that makes a
Mm-hmm.
big difference. Um, of we have two Georgians in our team. They've taken us to a Georgian restaurant where we had to eat. It's a round bread with cheese in the melted cheese in the middle and a raw egg on top. So that was quite an
All
experience.
right.
To eat. That
Wow.
was quite.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
quite tasty. It was quite tasty. I enjoyed it a lot. And then
Ah,
the other thing they have is like a dumpling. It's this big rounded um how do you
like a
call it?
dough. What's it like a
Yeah,
dough? Like
it- it's like a day with meat in.
mm,
So that was
mm,
quite good.
mm.
That's also a good thing. I think the most difficult thing to from this culture is like our town especially is a lot of Muslims. So it's a lot of
Ah, I
it's not a
see.
lot of
I see.
meat. They don't eat a lot of meat. So they only eat
Ah,
chicken or they eat meat that is hanged and all that type of stuff.
yeah.
But on the contrary side for us as
Uh-huh.
meat eaters, they sell sheep meat, cow meat, goat meat as cheap because they see it as waste food,
It's
waste
not.
meat.
It's not important. It's not that important for them.
Yeah.
Ah,
No,
okay. I
they don't see it
see.
as important. So they see with chicken
Oh,
and pork is very expensive
I see.
to normal meat. So we enjoyed it quite a while. But I think the other thing is like you can't really any place here have a barbecue. You can only have a barbecue in certain areas, and I think that makes it also
Oh
difficult.
no. Oh no. I bet that's quite challenging for you because I bet you want to have your barbecue maybe once a week at least, or
Yeah.
when you can. Wow.
You
And,
know, I
and I was
think
gonna say biltong, were you allowed to take any biltong with, or
yeah, we
um you
did,
know
but luckily in Kazan, there's a guy from South Africa. He moved probably 5, 6 years ago to Kazan, and he makes his own built-in drills. So
mm,
that's quite well for us. So we order probably once a month. We order a big packet of turbos biltong for the house, and then
jeez.
as soon as it's finished, we order again.
Cool. Wow. Well, at least that part of it is taken care of then, because I know even in over in England, some guys have actually started taking up eating Bolton. Like even the
So
local players, because they like the taste and stuff. But yeah, rugby wise, um, you've for anyone obviously thinking of playing in Russia, what how do you find the league? It's quite a tough league, I believe you're playing in, and what's the experience like for you, rugby wise,
I would
playing?
say the league is tough. It's a physical league. It's a
Okay.
lot of, it's the same as the Premier League. It's a slow
Hmm.
game. Bowling play is quite slow. They're
Hmm.
more on the physical side of the game than where they play the wide type of game plans. So I think it was for me adaptable because it's not quick guys, it's not fast guys, it's not small guys that they're gonna step you. You know they're coming
Right.
straight. You know they're coming deep. They're coming hard. So just put your head down and make your tackles.
Put your head down, and that's why I was asking if you play fullback, and they come through, they just coming straight. Put your head down. Oh my word. Yes. Okay. Wow. Wow. Right. So, this is your. Are you looking to stay, for as long as you can, maybe over in Russia, or if that's the plan for now?
That's the plan for now. It's to stay as long as possible
Mm,
in
mm,
Russia. Play because of the league not being that physical on your body. I
mm.
think you can
Smart.
play quite a long while. You can
Hmm.
prolong your career here as long as possible.
I see.
I
I
think
see.
so. That's my plan is to stay here as many years as I can because I
Right.
quite enjoy it in Russia. I don't know why, but I enjoy it.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so happy that you found a place, where you enjoying your rugby, and that's what it's about. And you're saying you want to prolong your career, so you're thinking smart as well. It makes sense, Johan. It makes 100% sense what you're saying. Namibia. If we touch on Namibia for a second, if you don't mind, you still all right on your side? Everything's still all
Yeah,
right? We good to go?
okay,
Just wanted to
okay.
check. Just want to engage everyone also on the chat for the same. Johan, this is favorite rugby player. Sarah Dean is saying is my favorite rugby player, and also someone is coming on saying hi. Someone is saying hi, Johan. Do you still have plans representing Namibia? Are you planning on getting permanent residence? Stuff like that. People asking. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not planning to get permanent residence. I'll probably want permanent residence.
Okay.
I'll probably want permanent residence in Russia. I think about it because of the future. You don't know what's going to happen to Africa
Mm,
or Namibia
mm,
or what a situation is going to change there. So
mm,
I think
mm,
it's good to have permanent residence in a country, other country than Africa, just to
mm,
be
mm,
on the safe side, not for yourself, but for your future, for your
mm,
children.
I
And I
see.
think that's the same.
Oh,
I think that's the same for you in England. You're looking for a
yeah,
future
yeah,
for your you're looking for your children as
yeah,
a future. You're not looking for yourself.
yeah. No, 100%, 100%. That doesn't mean that you're not, you're just open-minded. For
Mm.
everyone listening and coming across this video, it's just you're just trying to keep your options open, which makes sense, 100% sense. Namibia, they've asked also, are you looking to extend your career, Namibian career? And I would obviously say, push it for as long as you can. All right, I know you will, but I'm just saying from my side, keep going. Fingers crossed. You just keep running with it for as long as you can, because definitely Namibia needs you. Um, let's touch on that for a second. So, Johan, do you remember your first call up? Your first training session, Namibia, youngster Johan Tromp come in. Please tell everyone, what was that like for you?
Well, to be honest, I almost ended my career that year, same year. In 2012, I
What?
came back from university. We played in a Golden final, Tuks against Police, and we lost the final. And I thought to myself, what am I doing here? Am I wasting my time? What am I doing? And I think that would be most negative points in my career. I think is that point is when
Mm,
I went back to Namibia, got a job opportunity. I took it. I thought to myself, I'm done playing rugby. And I was actually like just on holiday, waiting for next year to start working. And I was in the gym, and Michiel Greef, that was the conditioning coach back then.
Mm-hmm.
I was gymming in East Park Kinetics, and
I see. I
he,
see.
he asked me, "Where are you playing?" And I said, "I played at Tuks, but I'm back now. I'm gonna work. I'm starting work next year." And I think it was a week later, I got a phone call, and they told me,
Mm,
"Listen, you've been selected to the Namibian group
mm,
to represent the country in a Tri Nations series against was Zimbabwe and um, I think it was Spain. Yeah, Spain." And I
right.
thought to myself, "Wow!" I thought to myself, "Wow, it's a big opportunity." I came with my first session. I've been on holiday for I think a month
Yes.
with no running, no really training on my fitness. I
Mhm.
came there, my first fitness session, I was gassed. I thought to myself,
Brutal,
I can't,
right?
I can't be this unfit. And they asked me, "Is the climate tough on you?" And that's all I said is yes. In South Africa, it's not as tough. So I said to myself,
Right.
I had an excuse. I had to
Uh,
make an
uh,
excuse up just to benefit myself from being unfit.
mm,
Yeah, and
wow. But
as the week went on,
uh
went better, and as soon as they announced the team, I thought to myself, this can't be real. Like me starting on the wing on Namibia, and as soon as I think everything was still fine, everything was still fine. As soon as I went onto the field, and that will be every game I play for Namibia. It happened to me,
mhm,
and every game I'll probably still play for Namibia in the future will still happen to me.
mm,
As soon as you're on that field and the national anthem comes on, that's when the goosebumps start kicking in. That's when you realize you're not representing yourself. You're not representing 22 players. You're representing
mm,
a small country in Africa
mm,
of 3 million
mm,
people, 4 million people.
mm, mm,
And that
mm,
is what you're playing for. You're not playing for yourself. You're not playing for your team. You're not playing for 4 million people, for pride,
mm,
for a
mm,
country,
mm,
for a small country compared to big countries. So that's every
mm.
time the national anthem comes on. I think that's where the goosebumps start kicking in. That's where I start realizing this is going to be big. This is going to be exciting. And I think that's the thing. You need to make it exciting as possible for yourself.
True, true, true. I like the word exciting or excitement as well. I see a lot of times guys rock up to training and they're not excited. Why would you not be excited? I know you're not always in the mood. I get that. You've had a long day maybe, but bring excitement. And you have a different session obviously. But
Yeah,
so now, yeah, that's pretty awesome that you've touched on obviously your first experience, how you got called up. You go on holiday, you didn't even, it wasn't on your mind, and suddenly you're singing national anthem, and a couple of years later, now you're in Russia. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing how things work out if you take that step. So Johan, you've played in two World Cups. Am I right?
yeah, yes.
Two World Cups, 2015 in England, in 2019 in Japan, and obviously, hopefully with everything the way everything's going, we could see the next World Cup, and I think both World Cups, one of the exciting players for me that stood out, was none other than Johan Tromp. So which one was your favorite World Cup? England or Japan, and why?
Well, it's difficult to say which one was the best and which was the favorite.
Uh-huh.
I would say 2019 would be the favorite one because we went for that World Cup trying to win the match against Canada. I
Hmm.
think that would be my actual favorite one because we went out to win a match. But on the contrary side, 2015 was I enjoyed 2015 as well due to the fact of you had to see places, you had to see there's more stuff to do, there's more places to see, there's more attractions for you as a person, there's more stuff to learn from. But yeah, 2019, the people were more involved in the game,
I
and
see.
that I enjoyed. they try to make the people part of the game. And like you would walk on the street and a random person would come to you and they would even know you. That was the scary
Wow.
part. That was the scary part in Japan, and they don't really know you. They know facts about you, like
I
you play
see. I
for
see.
you play for this club, or you are this
Mm,
type of work, or whatever your on your CV were on your bio. They would know it,
mm.
and it was quite scary. With 2015, it was a big country. People
Yeah.
don't really know Namibia because Namibia is a
Mm,
small team. Namibia is in a
mm.
lower team, so they don't really know you. But in Japan, those people made effort to know all the teams and every team, and
Wow.
certain areas would, if you play a match in whatever town you played in, like 50% of the people would support your team.
Yes,
And
that
I
must have
think,
been amazing.
and I
Mm,
think that because due to 2015, our performance against New Zealand, where people, I think maybe got a little respect for us,
mm,
when we played in 2015's World Cup. I think people
mhm.
got a bit more respect for us as a small union than we were. And I think that helped us a lot in 2019, going to the World Cup. People start recognizing Namibia as a country, as a rugby playing team.
Mm, mm. No, that you could see it, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. Going from 2015 to 2019, it was just levels. You know what I mean? Like, and you had more experienced players. Now that in 2019, hopefully, those same players we can be kept and move on to the next one. Yeah, Johan, thanks for sharing, your take on your experience. So, touching on the games that you played against New Zealand now twice, am I right?
Yes.
So, which was it the same, or was it what you expected it would be, or was it different, completely different? And you faced the Haka toys. Please tell us which one do you feel was, or was it as if it's never happened? It was all new. I would just wanted to pick your brain on that, if you don't mind.
Well, as soon as you walk on that field, like we had a mental session before our first All Black match, where the guy told us, he asked us what does AB stands for, like the All Blacks. He asked us what does this stand for, and people were saying All Blacks, and others were saying we
Hmm.
don't know anything. He went like the A stands for another, and the B for another human being. And I was sitting there
Hmm.
thinking to myself, well, that's what it is. It's just another human being. And as a mental
Yeah.
side, we prepared quite well for that game
Hmm.
against the All Blacks in 2015. On the mental side, I think that helped us a lot in that game. Like when you're standing there facing the Waka, it's you just thinking about it's just a game. Well, you're trying to do something to
Hmm.
scare us off, but it's not gonna work. Well, you can try what you want, it's not gonna work against us. So I think after the match you realize what big opportunities actually was playing against the All Blacks. But
Hmm.
on that field, it's just another guy you're playing against in your position. It's only difference between them and us is their skill set levels are much higher. Because they train it on a daily basis.
Hmm.
Like they have 3 sessions a day where we have 1 session a day.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the only difference that makes them much better than us. But like after the match, you think to yourself, has this really happened to me? Have I really faced the Haka? Have I really played against the All Blacks, number one
Hmm.
team in the world, 2015 Rugby World Cup winners, um, all that type of stuff. So you think about it afterwards and you think about what a great experience it actually is. But on
Hmm.
that field, you don't think about anything about yourself and about your team.
Fantastic, fantastic. I know. Obviously, you've played in other big games as well. I just wanted to obviously touch on because a lot of people obviously they follow the All Blacks. South Africa. South Africans. Boom, they just come straight at you. They physical. With that skill set as well, obviously. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on obviously the All Blacks. But um, the other thing was, we obviously we're gonna start just dumbing it down a bit. I know you've been giving me now an hour, and I'm absolutely over the moon, and I mean that, Johan. I
It's
appreciate it.
a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. I know, obviously, tomorrow you were a few hours ahead of us, and you're probably gonna put your head down. Tomorrow's this week ahead. Do you have a game this weekend? Saturday, Friday, or Sunday?
Yeah, we played Saturday and Sunday. We've got a sevens tournament. So Saturday will be 3 games. Sunday would be the quarterfinals in the morning, and then as soon as we win semifinals, win final, or if we lose, we play for third and fourth place. So yeah,
Right.
we're aiming just to reach the semifinals again, like we did Sunday.
So it's a busy schedule ahead. Like I knew. It's obviously, and talking about sevens, I know. I know you like 15s, but do you like sevens equally? Do you feel it's important to play sevens if you can at some point as a rugby player?
I think when you're young, it's quite well to play it. It helps you a
Hmm.
lot, especially with the one-on-one defense. It learns you a lot about one-on-one defense and how people, what type of body movements they use to attack. So yeah, I enjoyed sevens when I was younger. I think now when I'm getting older, a bit slower, I quite don't enjoy it as much.
You slow.
People,
No,
people,
you
people,
you
people are too fast in the seventh circuit, yeah. So
right,
I
right.
think this is quite it's quite difficult for me with this fast guys. People that's very fast, running a 100 meter under 10 seconds or 10 seconds here. So yeah, it's quite adaptable, but I still enjoy it.
So so you're saying that you getting slow, man? I don't believe that. I'm like I was gonna ask you about strength and conditioning. I know you like to look after yourself, like I said earlier. And you know, do you feel, or how do you feel about strength and conditioning and nutrition? Just for especially for everyone listening and for youngsters. At what point do you feel, why and how is it important? Why is it important as a rugby player to be conditioned for the game and obviously to eat well and stuff? What's your take on it?
Well, from me, from a young age, because you see a lot of good players in in over the world. There's the most talented players in the world, but they don't have the physicality to play the game. Like they have all the skills, they have all the speed, they have all the feet in the world to be the best, like a Cheslin Colby. But due to the fact they
Mm,
never went to a gym from a young age, they never went to someone to help them work on their conditioning, their strength,
mm,
to
mm,
stay as powerful as they are with speed, and just to get stronger, just to get more power into their body, to be more physical compared to a bigger guy than they are. I think that's the biggest um, negative. I think in Africa rugby is
hmm.
people they have all the skills on school, but due to the fact they don't believe in a gym, they don't believe in conditioning, and I think due to Namibia, where rugby is not a profession, so they work during the day and go train rugby in the evenings,
Play
or
rugby.
they just decide we're not going to train, we're just going to gym. So they either do the one or the other. I think that's a big negative as a rugby player. You can't lack on it. Like for me, example, I went for 6 years, 5 years, where I had to wake up 4 a.m. in the mornings, went to gym at 5, finished at 6:30, finished
Oh.
at the gym, showered at the gym, everything. I packed my bags, like I packed my training bag for rugby in the evenings. I packed my gym bags in the morning. I packed a lunch bag, box. I packed snacks. Like you had to prepare for every day, and you had to sacrifice on free time with family, with friends, with all that those type of stuff. You had to sacrifice just to be a little bit more professional and a little bit more in control of your life. I think that was the
Mm,
biggest mind blowing for me was to do that for 4 or 5 years just to get where I am now and to be who I am now. And I think
mm,
the biggest thing that helped me a lot is I was against CrossFit. Like when I was playing rugby in 2012,
mhm,
I told
mhm.
people I would never do CrossFit. Like there's no way CrossFit is made for rugby. I told everybody that. And I think in 2014, yeah, 2014 or
Mhm.
2015, PD contacted me from Plus 264 and he told me, listen, come try it out. Just for
Uh,
once, come try it out. I went there. I went for my first session, and he broke me. And I thought to myself, this is actually what I want to do as a conditioning player, to condition my body. And going forward, I think that's the biggest thing. Help me as a player to be as physical as I can and as strong as I can and ready as I can be for every match. And yeah, PD, he doesn't have the CrossFit box anymore, but he made it a high performance center related than a CrossFit box because he also enjoys it to work with sports people. He enjoys it to help you plan for your next event, next match, next race, even if you're doing motorcycling or whatever sport you do. He helps you plan for that. He helps you train your body. He helps you be mentally, physical, everything ready for that thing. And he helped me a lot. I think I would never be here where I'm now without him because I had, I had a talent. People say I had a talent, but I think without him helping me in that department where I lacked a lot, like going to university, people benching 120, I'm coming here benching 80 kilograms, so that type of stuff. You understand? Like the
Yeah.
physicality those guys had on me was much more. But the way he helped me,
Wow.
the way I trained, also at Turks, the guy there helping me there just to get me stronger, also helped me a lot. And like the conditioning part, I think it plays a big role. People think it doesn't, but for me, it does. It gives you that confidence. It just gives you that edge to be better, to be mentally also ready. Because now, you as a small guy going into a game, you know you're not that strong. You know you're not that powerful. And you're playing against big guys, guys that weighs 120, 130, coming on you, running on you, and you're a guy weighing 80, 90 kilograms, but having to make that tackle. So, I think if you go forward in life, you have to plan your day. You have to plan your week,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
You have to plan a week. Yes, now till now, yes, I enjoy going out with my friends, having a drink. But if you have a goal, like for me, 2015 World Cup, I had a goal. I had to say to myself, listen, I'm playing for Namibia. I want to play on that stage. I had to sacrifice on certain stuff. I had to sacrifice certain people, people that
Right.
bring you
Right.
down, people that bring you down, or people that mislead you to doing wrong stuff. Like you have to
I
make a
see.
sacrifice for that while, and they have to accept it. Or if they don't accept it, you just have to move on and get new friends, as I must say. Like that's the way of life. You can't let people dictate your life, and I think that's a big thing in the world. It's a rugby player that has all the talent and all the stuff, but due to certain people in his life, they dictate his type of way of doing stuff and bring him down.
Yes. Honestly, Johan, I'm like I could listen to you all week. Honestly,
Thank
like it's just incredible. Like like everything you've just said. Somewhere along the line, there's a youngster. Maybe he's in the like now in the squad, maybe in Namibia, and he's waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's thinking, "Wow, I'm working hard now." But just listening to your, to what you just said, what you just had to go through, they've got some of them, they've got a long way to go, and all the guys that have featured on our channel before, you could also hear the things that they were touching on, like Les and Chewy and I mean the list goes on, and Damien and everyone that's been on, and Boyson, everyone had to sacrifice, like what you just said. You've got to sacrifice. You've got to make decisions. What do you want? What am I? I've got this opportunity. What am I gonna do with it? What am I just happy just being there, or am I actually wanting? Do I want more? What do I want to
you.
like that legacy? It comes back to that legacy that you talked about, and instilling the values back into the jersey. Because I was thinking about this for a while, Yuan. I feel a lot of times people are just happy with, for instance, playing for Namibia, playing at the World Cup. But if they have the mindset of I want more. I want to do this over and over and for as long as I can. And I like that mindset that you've got because it shows you're hungry. You're not satisfied. You're hungry, and you want to push on. And I really hope that you stay, in the setup for as long as you can, and you deserve all the success, Johan, all the success.
Thank you.
You make us proud, man. You make us proud, and you inspire. And that's why, we created this channel, me and Sergio and Daryl. Obviously we were looking to inspire people, but we need
Yeah,
people like you. We need people like you to come and tell your story. And for that,
thank
that was a pot of gold you've just shared.
thank you.
Like the friends. You know how important that, like you just said, you might be surrounded by people that seem they love you and they like, they support you, but they might not be good for you,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So,
It's it's a difficult world we live in. There's a lot of distractions you have in the world, a lot of stuff that leads you in the wrong directions, and you just have to stay on course. And I think the main thing to stay on course is you have to have an open relationship with your father, your heavenly father. That's the main thing. Because without
true,
him,
true,
you won't stay on course. Like for example, if you think you're a youngster, in a Namibian setup, you're coming out of school, you at the Bulls contracted, you think, wow,
mm,
you're the big guy now, and you started thinking like this, and you lose your relationship with your heavenly father. You're in the wrong road. You're on the wrong road. You're gonna fall off that wagon, and you're gonna fall very hard. And I think that's the main thing is you have to stay as long as possible humble.
mm, mm,
And I think that's the
true.
main thing about life is be humble, be the person you want to be, not the person people want you to be, but the person you
Yeah.
want to be.
Wow, wow. Be the person you want to be. That's well said as well. And that's sometimes people want to do stuff to, so that people can like them. But
Yeah.
it comes down to what you just said. Be who you want to be. It's not about other people at the end of the day. It's about that humility, integrity that you're talking about, and having a strong foundation. And that's why I'm just man. We were spoiled tonight, Johan. I know. I said like 17 minutes ago we're gonna start dumbing down, but it's just so good. You've got to forgive me, man, for keeping you for more than an hour. And
No worries.
like I said, I hopefully, Johan, no pressure, but somewhere along the line in the future, if it's possible, maybe we could do this again, because there's just too much. It's just too much to talk about. But I like the fact that you've planted the seed that you want to go into coaching. Someone's asked also, Johan, on the chat again, do you have any ideas of what you would like to do after rugby? And I know you've mentioned before, obviously, about coaching and stuff. So, like maybe S&C or backline coaching. Like
My
I, I
two
know.
biggest, my two biggest things would be an S&C coach, and the other
Mhm,
thing would be a backline coach.
mhm,
Attacking or defending backline coach. I think that's the two things I would love to go do. Yeah, I think because of the game, I think I never can go away from the game. I think the game would also always be in me as long
mhm.
as I still enjoy it, as long as I love it. I would still love to be a part of the game and to give back what the world gave to me. I want to give back to little children or younger guys coming into this world, trying to make rugby their living.
And to mentor, like mentor, man, you'll be
Yeah.
a great. I take it you already probably mentoring people anyway, or younger players. But just the advice and the like you were saying, I don't know why, but it's just sticking to me. The sacrifices you had to make for you to get where you are now. And I'm thinking someone who's up and running now, thinking, I'm waking up 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing this every day, once or twice a day, but then think, wow, I'm doing something now. But someone else have walked this path, and someone like Johan Tromp, and in like, would you be open to? I'm sure when Namibia gets together again, like, I feel like we need more of this, maybe, like, where senior guys like yourself should have more of a hands-on. with younger players within the even in the wider fringes squads, and spend time more with the experienced guys to basically prepare them better, mentally. Would you be open to something like that if it was available to be able to talk more and spend more time off rugby, not just rugby, but I'm talking about when you're in a camp, especially in Namibia. What's your thoughts on that?
It's difficult. You have to be able to want to do it. I think it
Hmm.
would be nice, but I think you have to the guys that that's gonna be there wants to
Hmm.
learn. I think that's the most important thing also. It doesn't help you go sit there with 15 guys, but they all
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
they're bigger than the game. They are the game.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the big
yeah.
thing. Like then you're just wasting your time. And that's a worst part to be is when you sit there, you're trying to help someone, but they have
Mm.
this mindset like whatever. We are 25, 26 years old. We know about the game. This is how we this is how
Oh.
we roll, and this is how we're gonna go from here on forward. And I think that's a negative thing in life is you lose hope. And I think that breaks you down as a person also. When you try to help someone younger, someone new in the squad, someone less experienced, and they're not willing to learn, I think that breaks you
Mm.
little by little.
Mm.
But that's the thing also. It breaks you, but you also learn from it. You learn by yourself. This is the person I don't want to be. This is the person I never want to be. Like
Mm.
in every squad I've played, we have one or two of those players that they're 24, 25 years old, but they think they know everything about the game.
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're
when
right.
you sit there, you think to yourself, this is not who I want to be. I don't want to be
Mm.
this guy making a nuisance of myself, trying to say anything in every meeting the team
Mm.
has or any anything on the field that happens and the coaches call us in and they also want to say a word. And I
Mm.
think
Mm.
that helps you also to see a positive out of it. Like don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that complains or wants to teach a guy that's 30 years old or
Mm.
29 years old, played 5 years already for the team and or
Mm.
around the world or whatever. And you a 22, 23-year-old youngster, third
Mm.
year, you play now professional rugby, or even your second year, and now you think you know everything about the game. So
Mm.
I think that's the big thing is you have to be able to want to learn.
Right, right. I'm really, I keep saying this, but I'm really impressed by what you're saying and how you're saying it because it is very, very true. And that's what a lot of guys need to be open-minded to, especially the youngsters. Just be willing to learn. Let's learn from each other. Let's embrace it, and that's why, man, you Namibia needs to wrap you up, okay, and
Thanks.
preserve you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But Johan, I've like I said, we've been spoiled tonight. Johan, I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Okay.
One more question. Please share any advice or tips for anyone out there, youngsters, anything that you could leave them with. Maybe two or three tips, or maybe one. I don't know. Just anything you can leave them with.
Well, a lot of the stuff I already said actually is it's more about the life. Is be there's a lot of words you can actually just take from it. It's be adaptable. It's adapt to the environment, adapt to the if you're on a field and the ref makes a shit call, you have to adapt to it. You have to accept it. If you adapt it, you accept it. And one of our mental sessions we also had in 2019 World Cup is the
Hmm.
fire and ice mindset. Is that's I think that's where my cool mind comes from. Is as soon as you have a cool, calm mind and you have this positive mindset, your mind's more clearer about what you're gonna do, what you're gonna think about, what you're gonna play. Where if you
Hmm.
have this angry type of mindset where it's only rage, it's only fire in your brain or mind, you're gonna make decisions, the wrong decisions, and you're gonna make critical decisions at the wrong time, which is not important or not good for the team. So even if you get a yellow card, I've this year I had already two yellow cards, but
Oh,
I,
right, right.
one of the yellow cards was we were jumping in the air, me and him. I knocked the
Mhm.
ball back. He fell on the ground, but I got a yellow card. So
Oh my.
it's a critical call, but it's you have to accept it. It's the ref's call. You
Mm,
can't do anything about it. You can't complain about it. You can't change the call. You can't do anything. And
mm,
yes, there's a guy. He's got all the talent, so he's playing the game. He doesn't even work
mm,
hard, but you're the
mhm.
youngster, or you're the guy trying to work hard but never getting picked. And you wonder to yourself, why am I sacrificing my life for this? But just look at the
Mm,
longer picture. Just think about
mm,
your career towards his career. Is
mm,
you're learning every day. He's only learning when he wants to learn. So
mm,
as long as you keep learning every day by day, in and out, even if you're the third choice guy,
mm,
somewhere along the line you're gonna catch up. Or somewhere along the line, someone will see you and change your career for you. Like, don't just give up because you're not being picked or you're not the guy that's
mm,
calling the shots or you're not the guy in charge. Don't give up on that. Just keep on working. I think you can't expect to come in your first year as a youngster and be the
mm,
main guy of the team or be the main main player in the team. You can't
mm,
expect that.
mm,
You have to sacrifice your world or your life or your position even. Like when I went to Turks, I went there as a fullback.
mm.
And a lot of the guys may know him. He plays for the Lions. He's Andres Kutsia. We were there.
Okay.
We were there together, and I asked the coach, "Why can't I play fullback?" He told me, "Well, you have a choice. You can play second team or first team." I told him, "Well, I'll play first team," and I said, "Then you have to play wing." So I had to accept that thing is that I'm going to play wing for the first team rather than second team fullback, my preferred position. Like it's things you have to accept in life. It's
Mm,
things you can't change in life. And I think that's the main thing. As soon as you
mm.
accept your life and as soon as you accept the choices or the challenges ahead of you, you're gonna be a better person coming out of it.
Absolutely amazing. You like I said before, the way you're saying it and the meaning behind it, it's 100. I agree 100% because acceptance, patience, flexibility,
Yep.
humility. It just goes
And
hand
that,
in hand,
yeah, the
and
list
that's
goes on.
why, that's exactly why I'm like I said, man. I knew it. This would be phenomenal. Like this chat, it's valuable, And I would just like to say to everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the comments, the feedback, questions. Also, but most important, I would like to say once again, Johan, thank you so much for your time and for your experiences that you've shared with us. I'm sure people who will run into this video will learn a lot. Like I
Thanks,
said,
man.
this video will be available even now, straight after. If people want to watch it all the way through, please do, and keep sharing and go to his highlights. This guy, like I said, man, you deserve all the success, Johan. And I would like to wish you all the best for the rest of the season, and for this coming weekend as well. So thank you
Thanks, man.
for joining us. All right,
Thanks, man. I appreciate it a
all
lot.
right, keep no problem.
Okay.
Keep well, and we'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon again.
See
Thank
you
you.
again.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Cheers. Bye.